David Collins. 30 minutes. Show with David Collins.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show. I'm your host, David Collins, and we have another great episode for you today. A really interesting guest, and we're going to get to one or two or three of them in a moment here, I think. I'm not really sure how this is all going to work today. Of course, I just want to send a special thank you to all the positive feedback that we got on the live show. If you weren't able to see David Collins' 30-minute half-hour live show, it is on YouTube. We're having a little difficulty getting it out on all the audio platforms. Jerry and I are going back and forth every day. He doesn't really want to continue with the process. We'll see exactly. I'm a big fan of audio formats. I'm not sure our guests today here, probably also the same. Do you like these audio formats?
Are you talking to us now?
Yeah, well, I want to get that out there.
Oh my God, that was a boring intro. Jesus Christ, can we do that again? That was so boring, David.
Did you happen to watch I understand that you're somewhat familiar with David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show.
Yeah,
were you able to watch any of the live show?
Electra, I'm not listening to him. Show him how we do an intro.
I did watch the live show, and I brought you a present.
Yes.
Are you ready? Do you like presents? Here we go.
Oh, that's great. Well, maybe the present.
Everyone dance to David Collins.
David Collins.
David Collins, baby.
David Collins. David.
This is how you do an intro, David.
Well, it's a great intro. Let's see how you do an intro here. As long as we're doing the music here, I do have one other quick update, of course. Jerry is recovering from his long COVID. He's feeling much better this week, so Jerry, thanks so much for your thoughts and prayers.
We were done, we're not done.
Hopefully
We're into the second
that
verse.
helps there. We have a great show planned for you today. A real interesting
Not until the
guest.
intro's over, you don't.
Like I mentioned, are you doing an introduction? Is that what's happening here?
David Collins. David Collins.
We're almost done, David Collins.
You know, we do a very tight show here generally.
David.
Although we have thought about starting a podcast, and I understand the podcast intro that we created was a bit long, but I think that's a good way to set up a podcast. Maybe not necessarily this type of show.
Did you like my gift, David Collins?
Show.
That's how you do an intro, David Collins.
You know, sometimes, though, you prefer to take a gift home and open it by yourself. But
No, that wasn't for everyone. That was a dildo for everyone, David.
Of course, before we start the show today's color of the day. Color of the day today is green belt.
Oh, go Ducks!
It is Black History Month, so I thought it would be a great idea to pick a color from the Pan-African flag, which was created in 1920. Consisting of 3 stripes, 1 red for ancestry and blood for liberation, black, and green for the abundant, vibrant natural wealth of Africa, the motherland. Green belt is made of 0 red, 114 green, and 68 blue. Today's color of the day, green belt.
I'm starting to think that intro is a little too much for the content that comes after. That's a big step down.
Of course, one thing before we start the show, one more thing, we want to get straight into our great guests today. But today's sponsor of the show, we're very happy to welcome back Manhattan favorite, Max Motors in Manhattan, Kansas.
Brought to you by Max Motors. Don't overpay on your next vehicle. Max Motors on Highway 24 in Manhattan.
People still buying cars. Those interest rates are crazy. Why you buy a car? Don't buy a car right now.
Right.
Not even from Max.
It might be a good time there. Max Motors, of course, in Manhattan, Kansas. Today's guest is the cast of Hackride Studios, and we're going to get right into world news with David Collins. Now, we have a couple guests on the show today, so it might be a little trickier to ask this question. But when you guys think of world news today, what are you thinking about this week?
Well, go ahead, DJ Electrify.
The world.
The world. How about this Super Bowl? Did you guys watch the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, the Super Bowl this week, congrats to Taylor Swift's boyfriend, was said all over the internet. Can you imagine?
Do they play for the Ducks? I only watch Ducks football.
Oh, well, it was
they
the
don't play for the
49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Can you imagine?
49ers have some ducks on them, so I go for them. Go Niners.
If Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were to get married, she'd have to start calling all of her fans Kelce's.
Is that the woman with no butt? She has no human butt. And yet you worship her like she's a queen. It's very weird to us demons.
Taylor Swift can't help but be brought up on this show every week, and I don't even think that it's any fault of mine.
Where's her butt, David? Where did it go?
Did you watch any of the Super Bowl, Electrify?
Yes, and I saw it on Nickelodeon.
Wow, you're watching it on Nickelodeon.
On Nickelodeon, yes. And they called Travis Kelce Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Wow, the entire time. They were saying that all
Yeah.
over the internet, too, I noticed. Boy, what a good score, huh?
I'm not allowed to watch Nickelodeon anymore.
Very
There's
tight game.
Hackride,
right
court
there at the
orders.
end.
Hackride, you missed the entire Super Bowl. What a pass, huh? Did you see that pass? Anyway, there was
no,
a shooting
I missed that.
Wednesday at the parade celebrating the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. It's really horrible stuff, though.
Yes.
You know, if you ask
10
me...
people don't die, it wasn't a celebration, David. This is the rule.
Well, there was actually only one fatality, but if you ask
No,
me...
not a celebration. Nope.
If you
That's
ask
just
me,
a
I think you
party.
should
That's a
keep
house
the
party.
gunslinging to Mahomes.
Hey-oh! Hold on. Keep going, David.
And the players.
You're not caught up on any of this story.
No. Tell us more. Can you believe this? Can you believe what's going on over here? Can you believe it? What's going on over here? Tell me more, David.
Taylor Swift gave $100,000 to the family of the deceased victim from the shooting. Since then, Taylor Swift's Parkland, Florida fan base has doubled.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
but
I don't
hey,
think
there's
we can
dead
use that
people
one. I'm
involved,
gonna have
so
to
I'm
talk.
with it.
Jerry writes a good amount of these, and sometimes I think actually probably since his COVID mishap, he's been getting a little darker. Maybe we'll
I
transition
understand
here, of
this
course.
multiple personality Jerry guy.
The
I
Super
understand
Bowl.
that.
Joe Biden. Did you see anything about Joe Biden this week? There's a lot of talk about Joe Biden.
He's the guy on Dancing with the Stars, right?
Story came out this week that Joe Biden was not charged for leaving classified documents in his garage due to his poor memory, calling him a forgetful but well-meaning old man, and that a jury would be too sympathetic. Joe Biden went on to refuse to do a cognitive test with this year's physical. Do you guys have any thoughts about that?
It's probably a good call by him. You know, it's like you take steroids all year and they give you a test. You probably should skip that test.
Right. Well, that's probably a good
I
point
would
there.
pass on it too.
In response, Biden was quoted as saying, "I'm president of the free world, and if I couldn't remember things, I wouldn't be vice president."
First black female vice president. Congratulations, Kamala. Really making a wave in there. Oh, my God.
How about this? This was in the news circulating around here. A viral video of a 2-year-old swearing in the bathroom. Have you guys caught up on this at all?
I don't usually watch videos of 2 years old in the bathroom,
Well, this
David.
was going around swearing in the bathroom there, so maybe...
Are you on 4chain or 8chain?
It's
What's
a bit
going on, David? Where are you getting your
controversial.
videos at?
It's a bit controversial, of course. So this mother likes to, if her 2-year-old is swearing too much, the mother admitted that she swears at the cat, and maybe she heard it from some of the songs that she listened to, but this 2-year-old swearing too much. To solve the problem, the mother said, "Hey, I'm going to bring you to the bathroom. You can swear in the bathroom all you want. Once you're out of the bathroom, can't swear anymore." Why don't we take a little listen to this clip here? You can hear what that sounds like.
Since you can't stop saying bad words, this is the new rule. You can only say bad words when you're in the bathroom. So I'll let you say bad words, but only in the bathroom. So get them out now while you can. Okay, and I'll be back. You can say all the bad words you need to say.
Sticking ass.
Are you saying them?
Uh-huh.
Get them out.
Sticking ass.
Don't say
Say
it.
all the bad words you want right now.
I say to them all.
And of course, you know, there's nothing more adorable sometimes or funnier than a child swearing, so I thought it was a fun clip to bring. But what do you think about that? Would you support having your 2-year-olds go to the bathroom to swear?
Well, I had that one on my list. Let me check your number. Why are you breeding people? You just want little copies of yourself? What narcissism is that? Stop it.
Well, that's an interesting take. Electrify, do you have any children?
I do.
No,
Yes,
he's not a
He's
child.
grown. He's an adult child.
That's
Still
right.
my child.
Was he
But I
born a
have
Murphy?
limerick about that. Do you like limericks?
Well, I think this is a fascinating story. I'm not sure if you heard this. A fertility doctor in Kentucky impregnates dozens of women over his career. Did you hear this?
Yes,
This was
Dad.
being
Hi,
A
Dad.
lot of people were talking about this story. One story of these multiple kids that this person featured 4 siblings in the same high school. They all had no idea that they were related, and some of them ended up sleeping with each other.
There's going to be a natural attraction to your own smell.
Right. One of the
Yes,
one of the
they were
siblings
they
was
were
quoted
intimate.
as saying, "Phew." And that was World News with
That's
David
it.
Collins.
Ended with a thud. Both of you. Both of them were thuds.
Brought to you by Max Motors. Don't overpay on your next
Oh, more cars you can't afford.
24 in Manhattan.
Like I said, an interesting guest today that I'm excited to present
I'm gonna need a seizure warning for that next time. I feel like I'm in a seizure every time I hear that thing.
Today's guest
Did you get your effects from the 1970s?
Today's guest has
Morning
a
Zoo?
long history on the internet and in person. A musician by trade, he's performed
Oh, yeah.
alone and with bands all over the Northwest and California. Now
I
turning his
perform alone every night, David, thinking of you.
Now turning his sights to something different, he started Hackride Studios and HackRideTheDemon.com. With shows like Hackrider Radio, John the Toilet, Catch 22 with DJ
he's yawned.
Electrofry, Two Santa's Political Show, Boney the Boner, and Puzzle Box, you never know what you're going to get with this broadcaster. He's also
No, but
appeared
there's
on great
probably gonna be a
shows
lot of
that many
cum
of our
talk.
newer listeners may be familiar with, like Who Are Those Podcasts, The Blind Mike Project, Who Are These
Blind Mike.
Broadcasters, and The BS Show. He's also appeared as a guest presenter for David Collins' 30-minute half-hour award show. And we're going to talk a little about this later, I think, but I appeared as a guest on one of those shows for the Hackride Studios network. Certainly an odd human being, but I'm happy to have him here, and maybe some of his friends too. Please welcome our great guest today, Hackride.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I think we already did that. But hey, I love your reintroduction. Hey, you know what a reintroduction calls for? A song. DJ Electrify! Let's do it again!
And I think that would be an appropriate
just
time
kidding.
here.
I'm
Why
just
don't
kidding,
you
DJ.
go ahead and introduce who you brought here? I understand you have a large team in Hackride Studios, and we want to talk a little about that. So introduce quickly who we have here with us.
Oh, well, this right here is DJ Electrify, and the rest of the team couldn't make it because you didn't pay us anything. Ship them out here on my dollar. What do you think? This is a capitalism.
You know,
You're lucky you're getting me. You're lucky you're getting her.
I'm happy
you're
to
lucky
say
to
too.
exist.
Just this week, I finished getting pay out to many people involved with that live show. So I was happy to do that. Unfortunately, this is a different type of show. But maybe if you were to make it to one of these live shows, we could get you.
David,
a little
where
something
are
there.
the chess shows? We demand chess shows. You did one. You tickled our taint, and then you disappeared on us. What's going on? We want the chess shows.
We have to talk a little bit about that when we get to David Collins call-ins and emails today. But first, we have some red cards I need to hand out today. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this segment.
Soccer's gay. We play football in America.
The first red card that I need to hand out today is just to customer service workers in general, I think. I'm not sure if you guys are going to relate to this. I was at the store. It was actually a Hy-Vee, and I was looking for, I spent a long time, long story short, had a long time finding this LaCroix. I get to the counter. She says, "Did you find everything okay?" I start to say, "Well, actually," she interrupts me, says, "I'm going to need an ID for this beer." And that's why customer service workers this week get a red card.
I bet where you're from, they're still super nice, even when they're mean. Hey, you should come to the coast and deal with the customer service over here. They
I'll
want
tell
you
you.
to die.
I'll tell you, none of the customer service workers, at least they don't look like you, so they're more pleasant than that. Another red card I want to give out
In
this week.
shape and fuckable. Yes, I understand what the Midwest people look like.
Have you guys heard of this? You know, people kept recommending you have to watch this show, The Curse. Have you heard about this?
No, but I do curse. If you would like, I charge for curses.
I tried watching
Who you
it.
need curse, David Collins?
I'm not a fan of this show, The Curse. Please, everybody, don't email me anymore and let me know I need to watch this show. It's a little too negative for me, and also I've never been a fan of these home network shows where you flip a home or anything like that. So it's just not a subject for me. And that's why
you
The
could
Curse.
you can just call yourself a broke boy. It's okay. I can't afford homes.
And that's why The Curse gets a red card this week. The last red card that I wanted to hand out this week, actually, and we weren't even going to mention this. You noticed before we started recording, I got a phone call there, and that was from, again, friends Brian and Suzanne. It's a couple. They come together, really. But they had warned me. They said, "Did you hear anything about this?" Apparently, Chicago's, the Comedy Bar in Dubuque, is on its final legs. I'm not sure when it's going to be closing, but it's going out the door, and it's really too bad. It's where I've been doing a lot of my stand-up comedy, so a little disappointing there. That's why.
Hey, David, another Hackride, a studios member, has appeared in your backstage. If you want to let them in, I vouch for them.
And that's why Chicago's The Comedy Bar in Dubuque gets a red card this week. Do you guys have any red cards you want to hand out this week?
I give one to you for not allowing the extra guest from my studio on here. What kind of host is that?
So you have a musical background, I understand, Hackride. Can you talk a little about that? When did you begin doing music? Of course, have you always done music with this type of persona, I guess would be my first question there.
Oh, no. See, I discovered this human body. Do you know how demons work? Do we need to go back to level 1? All right, a demon takes over a human. So there is a human that did music. I can't sing or play a lick. So no, there was no Hackride music. There was a Casey Day music. And for 30 years, that loser tried to get people to say his name and sing his songs. And I come along for 5 minutes and now they like him. Ha 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 ha. So who's the real artist? That's what I ask you.
Casey Day. Well, that's too bad.
That's such even a boring name. Don't say it. Ugh.
I think so. Are there many other Casey Days? We unfortunately won't be getting to a fun segment. We like to do people with the same name, but we didn't.
There's over 1,500 in the country. How did you know that? That's amazing. I search on that too. We have the same type of autism, David Collins.
What is your favorite band?
God damn. You got me there. All right. I'm going to go today. My favorite band is a band from Seattle called Juno.
Juno. Well, if anybody knows that band, Juno, make sure you email me, dc30minutehalfhour@gmail.com. Why do you pick that
Oh my
band?
God, David, they had 3 guitars, and they didn't care if the radio stations played their songs. Some of the best music you ever heard. Oh my God. It's like if grunge met post-punk rock in a bar in Portland, Oregon. Oh, it's so good, David.
So if nobody really knows, and that's what I wonder there. Now, you mentioned this KC Day. You want to disassociate yourself a little bit, but talk a little about your musical career. Do you have any regrets in your career or in your life that you might want to talk about? I'll tell you one of mine. I regret, this is a long time ago now, when I was a young boy, there was an incident where there was going to be a dog. There was a dog that was going to run into the road, and I was worried. Every time I could let you answer the question if you'd like to answer the question. Are you playing me off stage? Is that the...
No, but these are clearly your bits, so I'm playing you. I'm giving you a bit of music so you can do your bits, baby.
No bit. No, this dog was going to run into the middle of the road, and I wanted to grab it, but I didn't want to accidentally touch its private parts, so when I reached underneath, I hesitated, it ran and got hit by a car. That's one of my regrets.
Hey-o!
Do you have
I'm going to tag that with doggone. Hey-o!
Do you have any regrets in your career?
Yes, when we played the whiskey in front of a bunch of record labels, I wore a shirt with horizontal lines. Made me look fat. I should have gone naked like we did the first time we met, David Collins.
And actually that would have led right into, I wanted to ask you if you had any great band
I'm the Segway
stories.
King, baby.
And I think that would have been very appropriate, but unfortunately we do have to get to our first game today. Our first game today is made for you, and you two are going to have to work together because I'm telling you, this is a difficult game. Our first game today is called Organizing History with Hackride. We're going to go over some segments. Of course, there's some different things, but we're going to go over in a segment 5 events.
I can't hear you, David! What's going on with the music? It's so loud!
And after reading out those 5 events, you're going to have to put them in chronological order in the way that they
What are you
happened.
talking about? All I heard was fuzz and disco, and now you're telling me to put something in order.
Are you ready to play Organizing History with Hackride?
All right. Whose history are we talking here? I don't know the Nazi history. Quit asking me that in text, David. I have stopped with the Nazis a long time ago, David. Quit asking me to join.
Our first round today is music. Order these songs and albums released in the order of their release dates. Freebird, Leonard Skinner. Highway to Hell by AC/DC. Venus and Marks by Paul McCartney and the Wings. I'd Love to Change the World by 10 Years After. And Rush releasing Moving Pictures.
Go ahead, DJ Electrify. DJ is in her name. I'm going to pass this one off.
Freebird, Highway to Hell, Venus and Marks. I'd Love to Change the World, and Rush's Moving Pictures. Can you put those in chronological order?
I'd Love to Change the World. Paul McCartney.
What would you think is number 3 there?
Freebird.
Number 4 and number 5. All that's left.
AC/DC, and then...
Right.
Moving Pictures, yeah.
I'm sorry. Unfortunately, all you did wrong there. It was so close, DJ Electrify. This must be a perfect game for you. All you did is mix up Freebird and Venus to Paul McCartney, and the Wings song actually came a year after Freebird. Round 2. This is in the vein of entertainment. I think this is going to be a good round for you, Hackride. Put these in order. Howard Stern debuts on Sirius Radio. Conan first appears on TBS. Real Time with Bill Maher first airs. Opie and Anthony first air on XM satellite radio. The Office premieres on NBC. Can you put those in chronological order? Howard Stern on Sirius, Conan on TBS, Real Time, Opie and Anthony on XM, The Office on NBC.
All right, I think I have it. Real Time was Real Time or Politically Incorrect?
Real Time with Bill Maher.
No, that one fucked me up. All right, Real Time with Bill. I'm gonna go. Fuck, Real Time or Office first. That's the hard one. Okay, I'm gonna go Real Time first, then The Office. Then I am gonna go Howard Stern, OPXM, and then Conan. Are you playing the success sound? Oh, God damn
I'm
it.
sorry, Hackride.
It's the Real Time Office one, isn't it?
Was
It's
very
Office.
close. Well, actually, what you mixed up there is you just put Opie and Anthony way later. Opie and Anthony comes right in 2004, immediately after Bill Maher.
Howard.
Bill Maher, Opie
what?
and Anthony. The Office premieres. Howard Stern debuts on Sirius Radio in January of 2006.
Oh, I didn't. See, I'm not an Opie and Anthony fan. I didn't know they were there first. Oh, no wonder they're so
Well, they
pissed
weren't
at
there
Howard
first,
Stern.
of course. You know, back then, Sirius and XM were competing.
Yes, Howard brought them together. Well, not being in Sirius made XM have to sell to Sirius. Yes.
Why don't we look at round 3 here of Organizing History with Hackride? Do you like this game?
No.
Boy, I'll
do.
tell you, I love this game too, but it's taking quite a long time. And boy, we have a
Where
big
is
show
my
we have
friend?
to get
Where
to
is
today.
our other friend? Bring him, let him play.
I think we're going to be
I will-
missing a few segments today. And maybe we'll just have to hold on one in particular. That's all right, though. Round 3. Regis Philbin begins hosting Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. John O'Hurley begins hosting Family Feud. Deal or No Deal first airs. American Idol first episode debuts. Rock and Roll Jeopardy premieres on Canadian TV.
Yeah, you're up, Bullock.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? John O'Hurley hosting Family Feud. Deal or No Deal first airs. American Idol premieres. Or Rock and Roll Jeopardy on Canadian TV first airs.
I don't know what's sadder, that this is so boring or that you spent time looking this up. Go ahead, DJ Electra.
Well, these are great. A lot of this is common knowledge,
I'm
I
gonna
think.
go with Family Feud, Regis Philbin, Deal or No Deal, Rock and Roll Jeopardy, and American Idol. And I think I got all of them wrong. Did I get it right?
No, that was me. You got them wrong.
Right. I'd have to say that most of those were wrong there, but for those of you playing at home, that goes Rock and Roll Jeopardy in 1998, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in 1999, American Idol 2002, Deal or No Deal 2005, and John O'Hurley picking up Family Feud in 2006. Well, that's perfect.
I did it backwards.
You didn't do bad on that game there, and I'm so happy that you wanted to play there, and we want to learn more about here. But let's get into this quickly, because we have a lot of emails and a lot of things we need to catch up on the show
And my friend
today.
who's backstage who needs to come on stage right now, and he can be here with us.
Now
Just
you-
look at his face.
Now you have this
Just,
whole,
just
you
look at
have
his
this
face.
whole broad. Speaking of your
Jake,
friend,
I'm trying, Jake.
speaking of the people backstage, there you have a whole broadcasting empire. Some might say.
Oh,
What's your
yes.
experience in broadcasting?
Well, I was on this show, and I have a computer. That's pretty much all you need for YouTube.
So what are you kind of doing? What's your vision? Well, let's start with what are you inspired by? What are your inspirations?
Money, bags and bags of money, and whores and cocaine. And
Now,
all
I
the
have to
drugs,
push
and all
back
the money,
there.
and all the whores I can have. That is my vision.
I have to push back there because I would think that a lot of people, if they're just
You're
looking
gonna push
for
back
money,
against whores?
they
What are
might do more of a political show or even just a reaction-based show where you're doing some original type abstract comedy. I would compare it to something like a Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse more than
Or a David
something more
Collins
of a-
30-minute half-hour show. How about that?
Oh, that might even be closer than, something more traditional, I suppose, there. So what do you say, what would be kind of your inspirations of how you chose which direction to go with your channel and with your content?
Oh, that's a good question, David. I really appreciate that question. That's a really good question. I see how other broadcasters are just fucking this thing missionary style, and I'm like, you can turn this over and fuck it in different ways. So that's what we're doing over at Hackride Studios. We're flipping that bitch around. We're acrobating her. We're trying to get into that pussy hole any way we can, David. Not just the same
Fascinating.
way everyone else does, because there are many ways to insert into a hole.
And like I had mentioned, I had actually appeared on one of those shows, and we spent about 90 minutes just going over some fun clips. It was a good time to spend my evening. I appreciate that, and we actually have a quick clip. I just wanted to maybe give a little taste of that. I appeared on, and you'll have to tell
So
us what
speaking
that
of
show
taste,
was.
Yawn misses your shit so much. Would you please make a visit back and poop in his face, please?
David
Thank you.
Collins. David Collins. David Collins. David Collins. David Collins. David Collins. David
Right.
Collins. David 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 Collins. And David Collins.
You, David Collins.
David Collins. David Collins. David Collins. David Collins. David. David Collins. David. Ooh. David Collins. David. Ooh. David Collins. David Collins. David Collins.
David Collins.
David Collins. David Collins. David Collins. You were playing my song and I heard you playing my song.
Right.
You came and say hi.
So certainly there's another
David
member of
Collins.
this studio.
David
It's strange,
Collins.
you know, it was a little taken aback. You know, I like to do a broadcasting show where we talk about subjects and maybe interview a comedian and things. So interacting with these cartoon characters is certainly a step aside, but it's an interesting thing, and we're happy to bring you on the
David,
show.
you had the best tasting poop. I don't know what you ate that day, but I want you to come back. Num, 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 num.
So what I've noticed though, that since I've appeared on that show, have there been no more episodes of that show? Was I the last guest to appear
I
on that
don't
show?
want to taste another man's feces after I tasted the best feces on the planet.
I see. So, and we have segments I need to get into, but I have been known as a bit of a hot interviewer, so I need to at least get
No,
to
we're
this
at
question
30
here.
minutes, everyone. It's been wonderful, everyone. It's a good time that we had here in the 30-minute half hour. And unless David Collins is a big liar, then it goes over 30 minutes. I think he should really stop the show
Well, I always tell
or
people
change the name.
I always tell people that recording can go from 35 to 45 minutes so that we can edit and make sure that we show
No
the best
edits.
portions and we get through the full
No
segments.
edits allowed. That's a Hackride rule. You agreed to that. You're not editing this. You're putting
We
it
actually
online.
worked this out very informally, and I appreciate that there. But I wanted to ask, and I have been known as a bit of a hot interviewer, so we need to get this addressed, and maybe we'll even just put this in. Speaking of editing, we might just have to front load this question here, because a lot of people want to know.
I like your front loads.
Are you and DJ Electrofry dating? Is there something going on? Would you say that there are some Electrofry sparks?
I eat her tampons.
No, you do not. Yawn.
She's not supposed to put them in me, but she does.
Electrofry, so maybe
They
you
all
could
do,
answer
they're
this a
so
little
lazy.
bit. People would like to know. I've heard these questions. Somebody
up,
emailed
Jan.
the show there. How often do you and Hackride spend time in person together?
I don't put tampons in the toilet.
I think you're avoiding the
Yes,
question there.
yes, David Collins. She does not.
I don't.
So when you guys prepare
She
to do a
does
show
not
together,
Put them in there.
are you in the same building? If one of you were to lose Wi-Fi right now, would you both lose Wi-Fi?
I don't know. You want to try? All right, everyone go to their Wi-Fi and just pull it out of the wall and see if we all lose at the same time. David Collins is a genius.
Well, I suppose we're not really getting anywhere with that question. Would you care to elaborate, Electrofry?
No comment.
The rumors are going to only continue, but that's okay. Are you planning on starting a podcast, Hackride?
Hey,
You already
I
do
got a
so many
I got
types
a
of shows.
poopcast.
You know, I
Just a little
suppose
feed me.
I think we're just going to have to skip a few segments today, but we do have to. It's very important that we do get
I
into.
heard you have Jake in the back. You know, Jake's a big star. You should have him
I'm
on.
emailing David Collins.
I think they brought you a star.
Of course, that sound means it's time for David Collins call-ins and emails. And we received a lot of emails and call-ins over the last few weeks, so we have to go through a handful of them. You'll see we're skipping Ask a K-Rocker. We're going to postpone Brody Toopy's segment again there, and that's a little disappointing, but we do have to get into some of these emails here. We really have to address them. The first email that I wanted to play was very short, but I wanted to show that we don't shy away from any criticism on this show, so I thought we'd go ahead and take this email. It's very short, but we'll just listen real briefly here.
When you have a podcast, you need to ask your guests some questions and let them talk every once in a fucking while.
And that was from Anthony in Little Rock. Right,
Hey,
Anthony in Little
Does
Rock
have
there.
a point.
I think I've heard that before, and I don't believe that was him specifically, but I appreciate you sending in that voicemail. You know, we have a lot of things that we need to get through on the show. Imagine if we didn't, try to guide the ship a little bit. Look at where we are already today. But thanks so much for that email, Anthony. Next, we wanted to get to a quick voicemail.
David, someone's got to poop. I'll be right back.
Next, we wanted to get to a quick voicemail here, of course, from friend of the show, Austin Ingalls. Now, I'm not sure, DJ Electrify, you know Austin Ingalls.
I do. Yes.
That's very interesting, and it's great. He's a great friend of the show here, and he was great on the live show, but he did send us in a nice voicemail this week, so let's take a little listen.
Okay.
David, I'm really bothered by this next joke, this next trend, if you will. There's a new trend on social media where people are cutting the bottoms of their shoes out so they can walk barefoot in public and not get caught. This country's downfall is afoot. Thanks, David. Keep up the good work.
Oh, the knee
Man, that was really good joke, David Collins.
And thank you, Austin Ingalls. That was a great joke there. Hackride, who is this now?
No, I'm Bowie the Boner. Yay!
I
I
see.
used to live in William Shatner, and then I lived in Windy for a while, and now I went back to Shatner. But he's so old, I just keep falling out, and so now I'm just on the ground most of the time.
Perfect. Well, our next email here comes in from, we actually got an email from friend of the show, Blind Mike Geary, speaking of. And he had asked,
I want to get in his butthole so bad, but he won't let me.
He was just asking, when's the next live stream? And I think that's a great question, Blind Mike. And
we want to get that. Chase, David Collins?
It's been a very busy week, and we want to get those live streams back up. If anybody has any suggestions for what I should be live streaming or any ideas there, make sure you email me, dc30minutehalfhour@gmail.com. If anything, we'll probably just bring back a chess every week there, but it's tough to find a way to get that scheduled. But thank you for reaching out, Blind Mike. We also received an email from a Mr. JC Montel this week. Thanks so much for your email, JC. Hello, Mr. Collins. I'm a huge fan. You really are a hot interviewer and not afraid to ask the hard questions.
You're very hot, David Collins. For a twink, not so much, but for a normal, you're very hot.
I have a question for you today. What are your feelings on frosted tips? Also very curious about your UFO story. Now, I'll start with the UFO story. I've teased this a couple of times. Even the short version of the story, it could take 10 to 15 minutes. I can't get into it on the show, especially today. There'd be no way that we could get into it.
David, if you're going to tell us that you're an alien, we know.
We'll have to save that for another day. It's a great story.
Save your time. We know. We know that you come from a distant land that we do not understand.
I actually am a big fan of frosted tips. I think it's a really great way to do your hair. Unfortunately, though, there's a connection between heavy drug use and frosted tips, and I'm not worried. That would be my only concern there, but that's a good question. Do you have any opinion on frosted tips?
I got a green tip.
JC, I'd love if you emailed me and let you know even what brought that to your mind, why you're asking about frosted tips, if that's related to a UFO story or what the case might be. But thanks so much for reaching out to the show. We have one other voicemail that we have to listen to real quickly here. Weeks ago, we got this, and I'm glad that he gave us another voicemail this week. Friend of the show, Samir Rahim. He called from New York City, and he gave us another call this week. So let's take a little listen to Samir.
Hello, Mr. David Collins of David Collins' 30-minute half-hour show. Thank you so much for playing my voice on a previous episode. When I showed it to my parents and 14 siblings, they were all very, very happy for me, and they have all started listening to the show now. Anyway, I was calling in because I am a big fan of the San Francisco 49ers, and I am so excited that they just won the Super Bowl again. You may think that because I am from New York, that I would be a fan of the Giants or Jets. However, they have not been to the Super Bowl recently. I would rather cheer for the Eagles or Bengals, who have also won the Super Bowl recently, like the 49ers. My father always gets me those great t-shirts from back home that can always tell us the winner of the big game. And can you believe it, David? These shirts are for free. They just give them to us. So I wanted to call in and say go 49ers, and sorry to the Chiefs and their fans.
Samir, I'm not familiar. Free shirt sounds interesting, but I'm not really following along there. First, I want to say, of course, I think
you
he's
got
a little...
documents? I need to see Samir's documents, please. We're going to need to check on Samir's documents. What you doing in this country? How'd you get in this country? You getting coal?
Well, that's great. Thanks so much for that call in, Samir. What did you guys think about that?
Just told you what
kind
I
of ended
thought.
abruptly,
I think
I'll say.
Samir is a goddamn terrorist and should be thrown out of this country in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Southern Santa. Shove it.
Is that who I'm listening to now? Is that Southern Santa? You know, I love
That's
alliteration.
Right. I'm
That's
from the South will rise again, and we will deliver ponies to all the good Christian white girls and boys.
Well, that's good. Well, Santa, I hope that you are a fan of games, because now it's time for our last game. Our second game today is called Name the Imposter. maybe we could have picked out
Black
your
Santa! He's an imposter!
one of your characters
Nicole!
maybe on this list. So name the imposter. We're going to name 4 names. And out of those 4 names, one of those people don't quite mix in that list. And you're going to have to say which one of those are the imposter.
He's
DJ
always gonna be
Electrify.
the colored one. The colored one
Hackride.
is the imposter. Get him out of here.
Are you ready to play Name the Imposter?
Ready.
Is a June bug a color of the southern pie in the northern winters of the
Southern
Appalachian?
Santa. Shut the fuck up. Thank you, David. I'm ready.
Perfect. Why don't we jump into round 1? Round 1. Fred Norris, Jeff the Drunk, Evil David Letterman, Tan Mom. Can you name the imposter?
I know, but I'll let the fry lady miss it first.
One more time.
Fred
please.
Norris, Jeff the Drunk, Evil David Letterman, Tan Mom.
And just so you know,
Fred
Evil
Norris.
David. Oh, she got it right. God damn it.
What? Go ahead.
Fred Norris.
I'm sorry. The answer was Evil David Letterman.
Really?
Those are living regulars of the Howard Stern show, except Evil David Letterman has passed away.
He's gone.
I see.
Yeah,
That's perfect.
He's gone to that great top 10 list in the sky.
Well, maybe you'll do better on this next round here because you haven't really done the best on all of these games, I'd say. Unfortunately, there. Do you like this game?
Yeah.
Name the imposter.
No.
Why don't we look at round 2 here? Let's see if you can get that. I really thought Hackride. I understand that you are a fan of Howard Stern. I understand a character on your show is speaking of deceased Howard Stern member, so I did expect a little different, but that's okay. Round 2. Round 2. Kate McKinnon.
He said Eric the actor is never dead in his heart.
Kate McKinnon. Bobby Moynihan. Cicely Strong. Kyle Mooney. Can you name the imposter? Kate McKinnon, Bobby Moynihan, Cicely Strong, Kyle Mooney.
No, I'm going to take this one. I'm going to say Kyle Mooney's the imposter because he actually likes vagina. All the other 3 like dick.
Wow, that's an interesting take there. DJ Electrify, do you agree?
Yes.
I'm sorry. The answer was Bobby Moynihan.
Oh, I was going to say that.
Of those 4 SNL actors, Bobby Moynihan does not do commercials for cell phone companies.
I knew it was something stupid. I was close. I was in the park of stupid.
Well, I would say that's
I was
very
in the perverted park.
I think that's very big in pop culture. We see these people. They say, "Oh,
Yeah,
they
David
work
Collins
for Verizon.
has been in the perverted
they
park
do
a few
Sprint."
times, I'm sure.
I tell you, I'd love to be on a Verizon commercial one day. Round 3 of Name the Imposter.
You'd love to be spit roasted by me and Black Santa, I'm sure.
Round 3. India, Pakistan, France, Australia. India, Pakistan, France, and Australia. Name the imposter.
I'm going to say France because they're
Australia.
a bunch of frogs. They're a bunch of loser fags. I'm going to say the French.
It was Australia, DJ Electrify. That's
Oh,
great.
what the
Those were countries
God.
countries with a nuclear weapons arsenal.
Awesome.
Australia does not, of course. France, incidentally, it does, but they say that it's strictly defensive. I'm not sure what that means.
You're going to believe them lies that those kangaroos are harboring thermonuclear devices.
You know, I've been doing more stand-up recently. I have a great joke about LaCroix and the French. It's really going places. It's one that Vinnie Paulino had told me that I should stop and throw away, and he said that you won't like it in a few weeks, but I'm still doing it now, so I'm not too sure there.
Definitely take comedy advice from one Vinnie Paulino, a man no one has seen do comedy ever anyway.
Boy, what a great show today. Hackride, DJ Electrify, thanks so much for joining the show today. Did you have a good time?
Let me grab him. Hold on, let me grab him.
Did you have a good time, DJ Electrify?
Great time. I'm still waiting on my shirt, though, that you promised me.
Your what? Oh,
T-shirt.
that's exactly correct. You know, you never emailed the show. We gave everybody, you never emailed an address, I believe. So we were kind of waiting on your portion there. But we do have a couple people that we need to get that out to, of course. Do you have anything
Are you promising gifts to my employees and then not giving them to them? That's my job.
Do you have anything else that you'd like to say on the show today, or anything else that you'd like to say to my audience?
Hackride.
Go ahead, DJ Electrify. No, DJ Women first, and Salty Fries second, and then I'll go first.
My show Catch 22 is on Hackride's channel on YouTube, and it's moving to Tuesdays at 6 Pacific Time, 9 Eastern Time.
Catch
check that
22
out.
with DJ Electrify. That sounds like a great show. Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe you'll regret it. It sounds like maybe it's bittersweet once you end up there. Who really knows? And of course, Hackride Studios there. What a great episode. That's perfect. Everybody listening, I've been David
Better
Collins.
get my plugs.
And you've been the best.
David Collins. 30 minutes. Show with David Collins.